He doesn't travel. He shifts between places in existence. No aftershock. No timeline impact. A meadow unfurls beneath his feet. Grass bowed from a displacement shockwave. He stands alone in a world that smells of dew and strange suns. The prime lattice hums through him like a hidden instrument. He closes his eyes and, for a moment, every universe becomes pressure points along a palm, some whispering, some screaming, all perfectly balanced. He thinks, I can protect all of them without breaking a single one. The sky fractures, not clouds, but an opening into thunder. The Stormfather arrives, its true shape a storm larger than galaxies. Lightning arcs like ancient runes. Wind sings like a chorus of broken clocks. Its voice is a continent. You defy the first design. It booms. Emsky steps forward. Lightning hums around him like a heartbeat. He smiles, steady. And you forget, he says, I never agreed to it. He reaches into the core of the storm, a heart of swirling primordial electricity. Fingers sink through thunder as if into water. The cosmic heart resists. Reality flickers, stars stutter, and the Stormfather trembles. You dare! It roars. He pulls a portion of that core into himself. A shriek of energy, a jagged sound like tearing paper. Light folds into his chest. He whispers, I am rewriting my own storm. Far above, the pre-dawn realm begins to fracture. Ribbons of light cleaving the sky. From the edge of perception, a dark waveform arrives. The void harmonics, familiar and hungry. The void harmonics commence their final silencing. A voice intones. Emsky steadies, feeling a new, clean power beneath his ribs. Teleportation true and whole. He breathes, patience like stone. And then, inevitable, promises. The void harmonics have begun their final movement. The great silencing. Entire universes fold into white, geometric plates. Their edges like cut glass. People hang mid-motion, mid-laugh, mid-grief, faces serene and empty, as if a clockwork god has simply stopped time. In the center of the collapse stands Emsky, prime lattice, a silhouette braided with fractal lightning. Currents crackle along his ribs, each arc trying to stitch a torn horizon back together. The sky itself warps around him, bending like a page in a giant book. From the negative reaches, Nixis appears, a statue of negative space, contour lines dissolving into void. Her voice is dry and precise. She tells him the harsh logic the multiverse persists because he persists. He feels that truth like gravity. If he falls, whole worlds will go still. If he ascends, reality will be remade and many will be lost. He braces. Prime lattice arc spiral and tattoo storm. Sigils across his eyes. I won't be the center anymore, he says, a vow that trembles through remaining light. At the edge of existence, a black ocean waits. Veins of white lightning like open wounds. Their clash sends soundless shockwaves outward, unwriting constellations, erasing names as letters shiver and dissolve into a hush. Nixis urges erasure, cold with mathematical clarity. Emsky answers with human warmth. No, truth isn't enough. People matter. He drives his palms to his chest. From the wound, a fractal storm spills outward. Where once the multiverse spiraled from one storm, now it will spiral from many. Universes bloom like stained glass bubbles, each cradling a different Emsky anchor, smaller, rugged, alive. Nixis fragments and recoils. As discord fractures her certainty, Emsky becomes many to save the many. He chooses multiplicity over silence. Choice becomes resistance. Infinity refuses to be silenced. When the multiverse finally exhaled, the sound was 1,000 storms and a single hush. The Stormfather bowed, its cyclone endless for ages, dimming like a lamp at dawn. Nearby, the Arbiter of Light watched, silver eyes wide, reflecting whole constellations with shimmering awe. Refugees, wanderers, and small gods alike stepped onto worlds reshaped in colors they had only dreamed. The luminous divide softened, folding into a radiant archway that hummed like a bridge of song. You gave them independence. You gave them will, the Arbiter said, a chime in the open air. For the first time, every universe found its own heartbeat. Emsky felt the weight unshackle. The prime lattice breathed and evolved again. He stood alone, lightning calm across his skin. instead of chaos. Between his fingers, a single lattice spark spun compact, precise, a tiny turning cosmos. A new power had named itself. The lattice step, pure traversal. A bridge he could walk, no branching timelines, no distortions, no copies, just steady passage from world to world. So, I can go anywhere, without breaking anything, he said, and a small, true smile opened on his face for the first time. He stepped through a crackling lattice doorway. A new universe unfolded. Twin suns over a drenched jungle, bioluminescent vines dripping starlight. He turned and looked back at the luminous divide, at the archway still singing with freed music. I used to be the center of everything. Now I'm just me. And that's more than enough. He walked forward into the unknown. Lightning followed him as the multiverse, softer now, breathed out and began to live. The first step felt like an inhalation of the cosmos. Under his boots, a lattice of blue-white lines wove and climbed, knitting a bridge where none had been. Emsky set his foot out, and the lines rotated, snapped, and a doorway shimmered into being without a single sound. He whispered, "It's like the multiverse is guiding me, not resisting." He learned quickly that a lattice step is never only travel. One step led him into a sky of floating megacities, platforms drifting like island clouds. A child pointed, eyes wide. A lightning traveler. The next step dropped him into a sunrise of crystalline geometry, crystals humming in time with his heartbeat. Another step landed in a world frozen mid-explosion. Silence pressed like ice. "I'm too late here," he said, feeling the weight of halted moments. There are moments when the lattice shows mercy, and others when it asks him to listen. On a slow, black water platform he sat and felt strands of light pulse into him from distant worlds. Each universe held its own frequency, a tone, a heartbeat. The step taught him to attune. He could hear danger as a discordant snap. He could sense joy like warm wind. He could feel grief as gravity loosening under his feet. Now, between one step and another, he does not simply move. He listens, translates, answers. The multiverse does not only open doors, it offers questions. Emsky breathes, ready, because each footfall might save a world or bury one deeper into silence. He maps songs of broken suns, stitches fractured days back together, and steps where maps cannot reach. Each cautious footprint makes the lattice sing clearer, teaching him the cost of compassion and the small joy of answering when lonely worlds call from the deep threads of possibility and hope. Emsky stepped through and the universe shuddered. Colors inverted like spilled oil. Gravity tilted sideways, and the air tasted of static. Something in the fabric of reality recoiled. Above him, a massive sigil unrolled across the sky, a lattice symbol crossed out, as if denied. It pulsed, an omnidirectional voice folding around Emsky. Prime Lattice. This domain forbids your existence. A shockwave ripped through the ground, yanking him backward and tearing the world like fragile cloth. He spat grit, teeth bared. "So some universes can deny me," he muttered. The lattice step had been perfect in theory, elegant, precise, inevitable, and yet perfection met rejection. The map in his mind shivered. He found himself later, under softer light, holding a page that lived. He sketched with a fingertip and the parchment glowed. Channels of possibility traced themselves. The map was not static. It wrote new doors on its own. Universes flowed out of ink. A realm where gravity sang in baritone strings, wind beasts woven from sky, a sleeping giant cradling a cosmos, and a dark expanse with storms made of memory rather than stars. "There's no end," he said, voice small and bright. "Just new beginnings." His map learned moods and whispered directions. The lattice step began to leave traces, brief after images of where he would be, a ghost of motion that hung for a heartbeat. In battle, an enemy charged a shadow echo and passed through empty air as lightning arced from Emsky's hand. "You picked the wrong me," he said, calm as a closed door. Between universes he walked the quiet path, a tunnel of nothing and everything, no up or down, pure possibility. He snapped his fingers and a new corridor unfurled. Next up, somewhere with good tea. He smiled, and the map hummed softly. A new door waited patiently. Emsky wanders into a quiet universe where he never existed. Streets hum with ordinary joy. Children chase sunlit kites, Lovers argue and forgive without prophecy or burden. There are no storms, no warnings, no heavy destinies. He stands beneath calm sky, stunned by how whole everything looks without him. He whispers, "They're fine. They never needed me." The words land like a gentle truth, and he smiles a small, relieved curve. Later, he reaches a cliff that opens onto impossible beauty. Waterfalls that float like ribbons, 3 pale moons, cities stitched from auroras. Behind him, lattice footprints trail across universes, each glowing with a memory. He helped one, he saved one changed him. He breathes, "I'm not the center. I'm not the storm. I'm someone who can walk far enough to be where I'm needed." He steps forward. The lattice ignites. The multiverse goes on. So does he.
Emsky.